I felt like I had a first down there, and when I didn't, again, I just felt like we didn't have a great play there for the fourth down at that point in time. So I felt like it was better to kick the 3. But that's, very fair question. But I felt like it was just better to kick the field goal there.
Is the right coach to lead you guys?
No doubt. I mean, you might have doubt, but there's no doubt. I mean, I love that man. I'm going to play hard for that man. And, I mean, y'all can say whatever y'all want to say, through all the media and all the writing. But as long as I'm at quarterback, he's cool with me.
All right, let's talk about it. We have so many folks here today. We split the set into 2 pieces. Laura's got some of the other guys over there in a couple of minutes. But let's start here. You heard Bill O'Brien talking after the game. What was your thought about the way that turned out?
Deshaun Watson should have gone into the game afterwards, fired Bill O'Brien, and hired Eric Bieniemy as his head coach. I mean, come on, in all respect, you're up 20.
He should have fired him
at the podium and said, you know what? I'm also going to hire Eric Bieniemy to take. You're up 21-0. You got 4th and 1 in the second quarter. You call the timeout and then kick the field goal. And you've given the Chiefs a feeling of, we did something, right? Like, we got some kind of win. Then the kickoff happens from Mecole Hardman, and all of a sudden there's this feeling of a momentum, a tidal wave. And you gave the Chiefs life. Your number 1 job in that game as head coach, when you go up 24-0, don't lose the football game. Listen, if the Chiefs come back and take it from you, if they win it, credit them. But kicking that field goal on 4th and 1, and then the fake punt, it's terrible by Bill O'Brien.
Here's my coach. Rex, your thoughts.
Yeah, my thoughts were, first off, the message that Bill O'Brien sent to his team. You're up 21-0, and it's inside a yard. You go for it there. You even called the timeout. The best play you got. I mean, how about that? We never had a play for it. Are you out of your mind? You don't have a play for it? I do. I do.
How long you been coaching?
I mean,
I
come
know you
on.
got an old play.
I mean, I don't care what it is, but you can find something. And then the worst thing I think I've ever seen. So you're down. Okay, you're up 24 now because you don't go for it. You're up 24-0. Then they go down and score. All right, come back in there, and you're going to run a fake punt. So now you told the team that, you know what, forget it, guys. We're going to do this because we need to create more offense. The message that he sent to his team, you wonder why they gave up 51 points? That's the message that you sent to them. It's almost impossible to lose a 24-point lead. It really is.
Those 2 things do seem to go contrary to each other, the decision to kick the field goal and then the fake punt. We will have McAfee over there with Laura in a couple of minutes, break down the fake punt play itself. But, Ryan, you made an interesting point as we were talking before the show that in some ways, I'm not looking to make excuses, but to jump out that big, that fast against that team.
Yeah, listen, it's not about excuses. It's if you play defense, you understand who the other dude is on the other side. And Andy Reid doesn't want to run the ball anyway. He wants to be creative. He wants to do things in the pass game. So you challenged him to a shootout. It's the OK Corral. Everybody walks outside. The other dude got on the stirs on the back of his feet. He got boots. He pulling his gun out the thing like this. And Patrick Mahomes is running up with a Gatling gun, and he is standing on top of the tank shooting at you, and the dude dodging, trying to figure it out. They couldn't stop him. And you're going to play man-to-man all game. We're going to kill you with crosses. We got the best quarterback in football right now, maybe the best to ever do it. And this team was not prepared. They were scared, and they didn't make adjustments.
Rex, I want to talk specifically about the defense because you're one of the great defensive minds that we have. I get that he should not have kicked the field goal. You still have a 24-point lead. Your defense didn't do anything. What should they, would they have done?
I'm going to say this because Ryan talked about now you got him where you want. He's going to bring out that Gatling gun and all that. My mind as a defensive coach, I would have nuked them. That would have been what I would have done because we're going to be like, no. Where's Ryan, you're going to get to make a play here.
Yeah.
Get ready to pick it. Greeny, get on that quarterback. Forget the run. Let's get after this guy. Tee off. They did just the opposite. You're right. They played scared. How in the hell do you play scared in the playoffs? You got a 24-point lead. You're not supposed to be there. But I would have just smashed this team.
But Dan knows this, too. If you're a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes with a coach like Andy Reid, if I know you're going to be in man-to-man every play, you're not going to bring extra rushers, I'm going to pick you apart.
No doubt. Okay, so this game does feel like it's very much about the way the Texans let it get away. That said, we should not finish this conversation without marveling at what we saw from Patrick Mahomes yesterday.
He's my favorite player. In 15 years from now, we're going to talk about Patrick Mahomes. And we're going to talk about Patrick Mahomes' greatness. And we're going to talk about his playoff runs. We will look back to yesterday's game because that was the kickstart of his historic, what I believe is going to be a historic career, and especially in the playoffs. The thing that Patrick Mahomes does better than anybody is he can create outside of the pocket an arm angle, space angle, understanding of where people are and placing the football. Like these throws, they're thrown to specific areas, inside shoulders, low and away, high and outside. Like the talent level matches the IQ, matched with like kind of the recessed creativity. It's greatness. And when we talk about him 15 years from now, we will look back to yesterday as the kickstart of it.
Real quick, that's one of the best games we've ever seen a quarterback play in playoff history.
No, absolutely. And this kid, you're right. This guy is the man. And when you look at it, players, great players, the game slows down for him. He's sitting out there, he's playing like a dang video game. Like,
you know what? To RC's point,
he doesn't care.
To your point, going up 24-0 was almost like they woke a sleeping bear in Mahomes and said, I got this.
Nobody wants to see him where he's not handcuffed, he's not shackled, he can do whatever he wants because he just can pick you apart, and he did it yesterday.
All right, we have so much on this game, and obviously special teams played a huge role on both sides, and Laura has exactly the right guy to break that down. Laura.
Yeah, that guy would be Pat McAfee. Marcus Spears here as well. I'm just going to let you take the floor. The fake punt, what happened there?
Yeah, special teams is always going to play a pivotal role in playoff games. That's just the way it goes. For as much as the meatheads don't want to talk about it, it is 100% real. And that fake punt that the Texans tried to run, failed at, obviously, is such a massive call. And let me tell you why. Their special teams coach, Brad Seeley, has been a special teams coach since 1989. Do the math. It's like 31-something years of special teams experience. And what he's seeing here, Justin Reed, the personal protector, the PP, if you will, was scanning the field before the snap, walking back and forth. And what he should have seen was Sorensen spying him going back and forth. A lot more fake punts are called than are actually ran. That's because there's always a checkout. The goal of the checkout is if you see something you don't like, let's get the hell out of here, because if you fail a fake, not only does your coach look like a buffoon, both of them, both Seeley and Billy O'Brien, but also normally you're setting up the other team for an instant success. There's already points on the board at your own 31, and whenever you have the greatest football player walking this earth, Patrick Mahomes, with on the other side, you just can't have that type of mistake. I think Justin Reed should have checked out of it, let Brian Anger hammer the ball, and he chose not to do so, and ultimately in the end, special teams cost them this game.
Would you have broken the tackle?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have hit him with the Heisman, probably hit the triangle, probably jumped over Cuzzy, but there's always, I've been in situations where I've run fake punts, I've kicked onside kicks, but there's probably been 10 other situations in my life where it was called and I checked out of it. Not because I'm scared, but because the situation wasn't right. When you're special teams, you can't lose the game, but you could definitely help win the game. They lost the game there in that situation.
We would never accuse you of being scared. Marcus, was this more about Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs, this comeback, or more about Billy O'Brien, as you said, in a collapse?
This was more about Patrick Mahomes turning into Michael Jordan. It was one of those performances that we think back to MJ when he put his hands up like that and he was shooting the basketball in the ocean. Pat Mahomes got in the rhythm unconscious, and nobody was going to beat him, and nobody was going to stop the Kansas City Chiefs from scoring the football. This is what the lore of Patrick Mahomes became. We saw him put games and games together. He suffered some injuries this year, so he kind of faded. Lamar was having a great season doing these magical things with his legs. Pat Mahomes yesterday was like, yo, I'm MJ. Everybody else is good, and I'm not saying that they won't be Hall of Famers either, but I'm MJ. Talk about me different. So today, we're going to talk about him different.
As we should. Is there any defense?
Because I said Deshaun Watson was MJ last week.
Yeah, you did.
But they played each other.
Okay.
Mahomes, MJ.
They talked about this a little bit over there. Is this the best performance that you've seen from a player in a play? Like, how far are you going here?
I mean, this is a 44-point swing, right? Up 24 or down 24, win by 20. Andy Reid's the first coach to be up 20 and lose a game in the playoffs. I happen to be a part of that. And down 20 and win a game in the playoffs. And I think the amazing thing here is, yes, Patrick Mahomes could have beat any defense. The 85 Bears, Rex Ryan's Baltimore Ravens defense if he had to yesterday.
The all-time 100 team,
all of them,
all Madden team,
all of them. I think Patrick Mahomes could have done that. But with me, I think this is a big statement for Andy Reid. Everybody on the internet said this is what happens to Andy Reid. He gets in a playoff, he can't win a big game, he can't do this. And early, Andy Reid was getting crushed. The Kool-Aid man, him coming out of the wall was there. Andy Reid can't win the big game. Instead, they show up, show out, and Patrick Mahomes proved his dominance.
Okay, listen, we've got so much more to get to from the NFL standpoint. We're going to be talking Seahawks-Packers, but we want to make sure we have enough time for that. So first of all, Greeny, we're going to get to the reason why we're here in New Orleans. There's a big-time college game happening tonight.
Go
Absolutely
Tigers.
right. Tonight it'll be Joe Burrow looking to cap off a Heisman Trophy winning season with a national championship. He would become the 9th quarterback to win the Heisman and the national title in the same year if he can do it. On the other side, it's Trevor Lawrence, who is only 25-0 as a starter at Clemson. Over the last 15 years, the only other quarterback to win each of his first 25 career starts was Jameis Winston, who started 26-0. And for the second straight year, one team is going to finish 15-0. The winner of this game will be the 4th to go 15-0 or better in a season in major college football history. It is a matchup that has all the makings, and Burrow has already had close to an unprecedented season. He has the chance to make more history tonight. With 3 touchdown passes, he would tie Colt Brennan's single-season mark of 58, which was set back in 2006. He's thrown 3 or more touchdowns in 12 of his 14 games this year. And so you guys have been down here covering this for us and for everybody over the course of much of this week. And Dan Orlovsky, I know you've been getting a close look at Joe Burrow. And let's give everyone who has not paid close attention to this and is getting set to watch tonight a sense of just what this kid is doing.
He's very Aaron Rodgers-like when it talks about if you get close to him in the pocket, he moves and he looks to kill you. He looks to take your soul with throwing the football downfield. And it's a really unique skill. And again, we've seen Aaron Rodgers do stuff like it where, okay, down in the red zone, right? You got to play great defense, sticky coverage. They do a good job of moving their players around. But what makes Joe Burrow so special is he can get back in the pocket. Okay, I feel a little pressure. No one's open. Coverage, great job. That's a win as a defense. But my player is better than your guys. And he moves in the pocket, but with the vision to find somebody downfield. A beautiful kind of tight window ball placement throw. Now, again, you're going to see him have to move in the pocket, pressure off his right. He's scanning, seeing, do I have anybody open? No one is open. This is a good defense right now. Nowhere to throw the football. But like Aaron Rodgers, like Russell Wilson, like these greats, he wants to take your soul in these moments. And he's moving to find someone to throw the football downfield. He knows what corners aren't going to look back for the football, and then he throws it exactly where he needs to. Joe Burrow is having the greatest college quarterback season we've ever seen.
Yeah, not only that, he also has the highest completion percentage in the history of college football. And I think if you look back to what Joe Burrow was able to do, where he transfers out of Ohio State, bets on himself. He has this ability to just complete passes and turn things around. He wins the Heisman and doesn't make it about himself, makes it about everybody else. And when you need a chance to win, no matter what it is, Joe Burrow with the ball in his hands is going to pull off a victory. He has a jumper. He's a white kid from the Midwest. And whenever Joe Burrow arrived from Ohio State to LSU, last year he threw 16 touchdowns. This year he threw 55, which is obviously 3 away from the record. He was able to win over the entire locker room. He was able to win over the entire state. And I think the run that he's on right now, you never walk away from a heater, but I think it's going to transition perfectly into the NFL because of the way he handles himself. He's a grateful kid. He's a hardworking kid. He bet on himself, and he has this swagger that I just absolutely love. Joe Burrow is the truth.
You mentioned that swagger, the Cajun spelling of his name on his back that he wanted to do. He wanted to run out that way for his final game in Death Valley. This is a guy that has meant so much to LSU. He's going to have a statue there. What would it mean to step that up one extra level and win a national championship?
Well, you finish the deal, and there's no question, right? Right now, we still like, okay, but he got to win a national championship. The difference with Joe Burrow and what he's done is that you feel more let down if he doesn't win this game today, right? He set himself up to have, to your point, Dan, statistically, we can see what we saw with our own eyes about the success that they had from a numbers perspective, winning games. He wins a national championship, though, Joe Burrow will hold something over every player that's played in college football head.
To be clear, and while we do have both you and Ryan Clark here, we are not an LSU-centric show this morning.
No,
you sort of look at the matchup of the quarterbacks here. You have one guy in Burrow who could be having the greatest season of all time. You have another guy in Lawrence that if he wins tonight, theoretically could be trending towards having the greatest career of any college quarterback ever.
It's the fight boxing's wanted for 3 decades. It is the heavyweight versus heavyweight. And to your point, Greeny, Joe Burrow's had the greatest college quarterback season ever. And Trevor Lawrence is becoming one of the greatest college quarterback prospects we've ever seen. And they're both really special. They both have the ability in key moments when the pressure's on the most for them to rise up and elevate everybody around them and be the best player on the field. And then they go into a mode where you see it with unique athletes, special athletes, that they, in that space, in that time frame, say, I'm the baddest person on this field right now.
To that point, real quick, if there was 2 quarterbacks this year in college football that you said could go toe-to-toe with Joe Burrow, it was Tua and Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
He get another shot at the other one today.
Yeah, he knocked off Tua, and let's see if he can finish the deal tonight. Should be very interesting. We're getting you ready for it. We're going